Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me here again today for I don't know if I should call this like the makeup class. So it's a makeup class. It's a filler class, so that I can explain to you guys. That if you are here and you can hear me, please let me know in the comments below. I see Chidalo was here earlier, so I made a mistake and I set the time to I set it to 11 p.m. My fault. So I've corrected it. And now we're starting. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I hope you went to all one bed. Pat. So welcome anyway, everybody. Thank you so much. Chidalo, Ayomide, Rhodes. Welcome, guys. So, okay. 11 people are on. This is like a full class today. Wait here, but on Saturday, we didn't have this many attendees, but it's all good, Sha. So, um, today we are going to talk about the automation side again. We're going to talk about how to connect your emails, and I was going to show you guys 1 minute, guys. Okay, I was going to show you guys um, a way to move from a list to another, from one how to take people from one sequence. That's what I wanted to do. And the reason why, the reason why didn't do that, the placement of the buttons where you could click to make that happen. So they had moved it, which part of the site it was on. So I sent Welly. Welly is the guy who owns Betson. He's the CEO. So I sent him a message and asked him. So he showed me where it is. And the good news, guys, is that they have actually made it really like even a lot easier than it used to be when I signed up with Betson. It's a lot easier to do it now. It's a lot faster to even do it now. In fact, the this Betson thing is a gift that keeps on giving. It's like Prince Will made a post yesterday on Twitter and I commented on it, and Prince said um, that Betson is one of those rare times. I think that's what he is. One of those rare times when something that is the least expensive is also. So I want you to sequence and add them to a new sequence or a new tag or a new list if they buy your product. If they don't buy, how do you move them again and all of that? So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And it is so easy the way they have set it up now. So I'm going to be sharing my screen and I'm going to invite you to join me as we do that. So please let me know the moment you can see my screen. Let me know so I'll be sure that we are on the right path. Can you see my screen now? I believe you can because I can. So I think you can. Okay, great. So, fantastic. So, um, we are going to go into bedside, and if you guys followed on day 3 and on Saturday, right? You already know how to create a sequence. I'm sure you already know how to create the tags. I believe. Um, One other thing you guys need to learn is to okay, okay. I need to log into my BedSend account first. So I'll use that the account that I was using, the same account I've been using to show you guys all this time. So we are going to use that same account. Uh, the internet is kind of slow, so forgive me. I'm trying to fix it. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to log into BedSend. So this is the BedSend account. So I'm going to kind of step back a little bit. So I show you guys again, explain the sequences, and then explain the tags again. I already told you that the way BedSend works, that you identify the list by your tags. Your tags are going to explain the list for you. You will be able to know which list each person is on by the tag that that person has attached to their contact details. Okay, and the way to create the tags is to come to settings and click on contact tags. You can see all the contact tags that I have here, and you can click a new tag. So your tag is your list, right? Okay, now you create your sequence from the automations. We created a sequence the other day. Am I correct? On Wednesday, we created the sequence. This is that sequence. We created the sequence for 72 IG promo, right? And this is it. So we had one, two, three, four, five, six, seven sequences. And you can add as many emails as you want to a sequence. Now, and I told you guys that if you are doing a promo, the very first email is the email that they will get telling them that the training is starting, right? Because you want to take people from an ad to a sign up page to watch your webinar. And then when they sign up, it needs to take them to the webinar page automatically, right? So the way that I do it is that I set up my webinars to start 5 minutes after people land on that page, right? I set it up to start 5 minutes. And then in my recorded video for my recorded webinar, my recorded training, I put a countdown timer that counts down from for, 44.59, 4.58, 4.57, 4.56, 4.55, 4.5. You understand what I mean? It counts down from 5 minutes down to 0.01 and then 0.00, and then my voice comes in. And then while it's doing that countdown, there is a high tempo music, right? I like using uh, David Guetta's music. You guys know David Guetta, right? So I layered David Guetta David Guetta high tempo. Is that his name? Is it David Guetta or DJ Guetta? Well, anyone that you think it is, right? So I layer the guy's music because his music is high tempo, upbeat. The reason why I like using his music is that his music puts people in a very good mood, right? They're energized. So I put that music, I layer it on that counter button, and then it counts down, it counts down, it counts down, it counts down, right? And then once it hits zero, my voice comes in, and people hear something like, "Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, anywhere around the world watching this. Thank you so much for being here. Today, I'm absolutely going to change your life." I know that is a big claim, but what I need you to do right now, you see, my webinar has started, so they now begin to watch. Okay, so that is this. So you need to send them an email, maybe they sign up, telling them, "Hey, your webinar is going to start immediately." Right now, if you use webinar software like Webinar Fuel, these things are already automatically set up. You just need to edit, do a little bit of edit yourself. I know Caleb is using Webinar Fuel. I know Walter is using Webinar Fuel, and I know Prince is now using Webinar Fuel. If you can afford it, please get Webinar Fuel. It makes all these things automated. In fact, you can do it a lot better than you can yourself. Okay. So, but this is the first email that they get, and then the next day they get a reply email, a replay, an email telling them to go and replay. Then the third day, it tells them about the offer. On day four, it tells them the offer is ending today. That's on day four. Then on that same day four, 6 hours to midnight, they get one offer. They get another email. 3 hours to midnight, they get another email. Right? 1 hour to midnight, they get another email. And then you can even send them another email right on the dot of 12 midnight and said, crunch time. This is your final chance, right? And then so all those emails of day four will come in sequential times. Now, once you have set up your promo sequence, right? Once you have set it up, now you have to make it go live. So you have to come here, you update, right? You update the sequence, make sure everything is saved, and then you click on go live. Now, you see that when you click on go live, it pops up this button. It asks you whether you want to do evergreen or non evergreen. Now it is set to evergreen, right? If I change it, it has now moved, this button has now moved to this side, which means that it is now non evergreen. So, what do those two things mean? What evergreen means is that when you set up a sequence and you set it to evergreen, what it means is that you can keep adding messages, extra messages, right? Let me cancel this. What evergreen means is that you can keep sending extra messages, extra. So you can keep clicking add new email and keep adding extra messages, right? You can keep doing that. But but when somebody has gotten to the end of that of the emails. So let me explain it this way. So if your promo is set to evergreen, right, and you have only 7 emails in the sequence as of that day, right? So let's say somebody has gotten to email number 7, which means that it is supposed to end, right? Because you have only 7 emails, right? Now, if you add an 8th email in 2 weeks' time, that person will still get it. That is what evergreen means. As long as you keep adding messages and you keep adding messages and you keep adding messages, right? As long as you keep adding messages to your sequence, they are going to keep getting it. They are going to keep getting it. They are going to keep getting it, right? As long as you're adding messages, as long as you're adding messages, they're going to keep getting it. That is what evergreen means. Now, non evergreen means that if you have only 7 messages in your sequence, the moment one person receives email number 7, it will end. You can't add extra messages to it. Now the question is, which one is best? It is up to you. But for if you want to be able to move people from one sequence and add them to a new list, or you want to move people from one sequence and add them to another sequence, or right, you need to make sure that when you click on go live here, right, you need to make sure when you click on go live here. 1 minute, guys. Let me refresh this. So you need to make sure that when you click on go live, that you set this to non-evergreen. The reason why is because for somebody, you to be able to move your prospect, whether they have bought or whether they have gotten to the end of a sequence, for you to be able to move them from one part of one sequence and add them to your main list, the sequence needs to end. There has to be an end point so that you can tell the bed send automated system and say this person has gotten to the end of this sequence. Please move them from this sequence and add them to this list. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Let me know if it makes sense to you. So your sequence has to end for you to be able to make rules for that sequence, right? It has to end for you to make a rule for that sequence. So what which means that you have to make sure that when you click on go live, when you have created your sequence and you click on go live, right? You create your sequence, you update it, you click on go live, and then the next thing you do is you click, you make sure that it is set to non-evergreen. So if you move this cursor here, this button here, it is non-evergreen. If you move it to this point, it is evergreen. So you want it to be non-evergreen. You want it to be non-evergreen. Okay? So I am going to go back to um, my sequences and use demonstrate with a non-evergreen sequence. Now, when you click on your automations, right, you're going to see two buttons here. You're going to see sequences up here. I hope you guys can see that. Then you're going to see rules, right? Don't worry, we're going to come to that because this is when you begin to see the magic of BedSense. So this is the sequences that I currently have, the ones that are live, right? I've already clicked on go live for each of these ones. Now, you notice that this one has a green button showing a green color. So if you put your cursor on it, you see that it says it is evergreen. So this particular sequence is evergreen. I can't use automated rules for it, right? Especially not that I can't use automated rules, I can, but to move people from this sequence to another tag is not going to work. You want to make sure that it is non-evergreen. So non-evergreen, when you see a blue, this blue button in front of any sequence, it means that that sequence is non-evergreen. The green means that it is evergreen. The blue means that it is non-evergreen. So now I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this sequence, right? I'll just say Shawwell to Ronald, right? That is the name of this sequence. And then I click on publish changes. So now we have, so you can see Shawwell to Ronald. So this is the sequence. So now I want to be able to move people from this sequence to my main list. Okay, so let's assume that this sequence has 7 emails that I've already programmed into it. I've already set them up, and I want to move people whether they have bought or they have not bought. It doesn't matter. If they buy, sweet. If they've not bought, sweet. I want to move them immediately. And they, from once they hit the end of that sequence, I want to move them to my main list, right? So how do you do that? The way you do it is you click on rules. So you set rules for it. So you set rules, and then you click on rules here, and then you click on new rule, and then you give your rule a name, right? So what's the name of this rule, right? Move. So I'll call it move. You can call it anything you like. Move Shaw Wells with Ronald subscribers to main lists, right? Then I click on create. So now you can see this is the rule. You can see it up here, right? If I click on rule again, you see it up here. It is not live now, but I can make it live. So I click on it now. You can see where this place where it says when this happens, do this. When this happens, do this. So when this happens, so what happens is a trigger. So you need to select a new trigger, right? So what is my new trigger? So my new trigger is up here. I want to have these are all the different things you can set up rules for. So you can set up rules for bed send, for a member. A member is a membership plugin. There's member press, there's some cards, there's send out, there's Shopify, teachable, Thinkific, Thrive cards, viral loops, WooCommerce, right? So I select Bedson here. Now, when I say, okay, so if people, this is for Bedson, what rule, what trigger do I want? So I go scroll down and I say completed a sequence because we want to move them when they have completed a sequence. You guys follow? So I select completed a sequence here. They will now say what sequence. So you can see show what we draw now. You can see these other sequences are not live. Why are they not live? They are either in draft or they are evergreen. That is why they are not. That's why I cannot click on them. But I can click on this one that I just created because it is non-evergreen. It is important, guys. So now you can see that, right? I've said that the trigger is the trigger. The moment they have completed a sequence, this rule is going to trigger. So if I have 7 emails in this short runner sequence, the moment they hit they get the last email one by one, it happens for each person individually. The moment that each person on that sequence gets the last email, this trigger is going to happen. Now, when this trigger happens, what should Betson do? I will now tell the best Betson the action that I want Betson to take. You guys follow. So when this trigger happens, what should Betson do? So when this happens, right? When people who are in Betson have completed a sequence, and that sequence is called Show with Ronald, do this. So what should Betson do? And I'll click on new action and I'll tell Betson apply tag. Apply tag. Do you remember the tag is our list? So I want to move them to our main list. So I say apply tag. Then I'm going to search for the tag that I want them to. So let us assume that this is my main list, right? This is let's assume that this is my main list and now select that tag and then I click on update. There you go, guys. Done. So the moment people get to the end of this sequence, they will automatically be applied to this tag and they will be on the main list. You guys follow? You guys understand it? You understand it, guys? Right? It is straightforward, it is simple, it is easy, it is like they've made it so cool, right? They made it so cool. Okay, superb. Now, Caleb was asking something. He asked an interesting question on Wednesday, and I gave an answer. That answer that I gave works, right? So let me go over his question again. So Caleb said, if somebody buys my course, right? How do I add them? Because if somebody has bought your course, there's no point sending them emails again to tell them to go and watch the replay. Oh, this is the offer. Oh, that is get this discount. You know, it is you are just bugging them at that point because they've already bought it. There's no point sending them emails to go and buy it again, right? So how do you remove them from that sequence and add them to your main list? Because as long as they have bought, right? You can remove them from that sequence, right? So very, very easy to do also, right? If they have bots. But now you need something additional. But let me show you guys. So you see, let's say this is our sequence again, right? We have already told Betson if somebody has completed this sequence, please remove them. They've completed the sequence anyway. Add them to this tag. So they join our main list like this. Now, what if I was selling a product in this sequence, right? I can still tell Betson, I can add a new trigger and say Betson, if that person has bought a WooCommerce product, right? Why WooCommerce? I'm going to explain. So you can see it says or if this happens or they do this, you can see the or is here. If they complete the sequence, whether so this one stands for whether they buy or they don't buy, as long as they have completed the sequence, right? Add them to this tag. Or if they have bought, right, a product that is I have added to WooCommerce, and what is the product? The product purchase. I can now select an option, right? From which website? From this website. It's a product category. I didn't categorize my products on WooCommerce, so that's why I'm choosing uncategorized. You know, say which of the products. So I can now say email primer basic, email marketing primer basic. Um, so let's say I choose basic. Now I will now say if this happens, if they complete the sequence and they didn't buy, add them to this tag. Or if they bought this particular product, still add them to this sequence. Does that make sense, guys? And then all I just need to do is just click update. So now, whether they have bought or they complete the sequence without buying, they are still going to be added to my main list. Does that make sense now? Right? And you can keep adding triggers and keep adding more and more triggers, right? You can keep adding more and more and more and more triggers, right? I can say if they have bought this product, right? Product purchase, right? And then from which website I will teach you business product category uncategorized, which products, email marketing primer, right? If they have, I will say, or if they have bought this product, add new action. So I can now say remove them from unsubscribe them from this sequence, right? I can now unsubscribe them from any of the sequences that I like. So I can unsubscribe them from this sequence. But just so it doesn't confuse you, what you can do is that you can leave out this one and set up a new one. So this one says if they complete the sequence, apply them to this tag. If they buy the product, apply them to this tag. But you know that if they buy the product, right? If they buy this product here and they attach to this tag, it still doesn't remove them from the sequence. Do you guys understand it? This is just a trigger that says if they buy this product, add them to this list. It still doesn't remove them from this show world with Ronald sequence. It hasn't removed them, right? So what you do is that you go and set up a new rule for it. So we go back here and create a new rule and say show world with Ronald buyers because we want to immediately they buy, we want to be able to remove them from that sequence. So now we have that, and then we select a new trigger. What is our trigger? WooCommerce. If they buy, right? Product purchase. Select option from this website. Product category. And categorize. I'm assuming this is our product. And I'll say, okay, so if they buy this product, please, oh, Betson, do this. New action. I'll now say remove them from, unsubscribe them from sequence once they have bought this product. So I say unsubscribe from sequence. I click on select the sequence. So this is the sequence I want to unsubscribe them from, and then I click on update. So there you go. So now we have our rules. This first one, then you have to always remember to make it live. So now we have this one. Anybody who has bought the product will be unsubscribed from the sequence. This one, anybody who has completed the sequence, whether they have bought or not, is going to be added to our main list. Do you guys follow now? You see how straightforward, how sweet, how easy it is to move people around from point to point. Now, let me talk about, I was selecting WooCommerce here for this trigger. WooCommerce, right? If you sell your product directly on Paystack, this is not going to work because Paystack is not here. There's a way it's going to work, right? There's a way it is going to work. It can work, but um, it will require you going to use a service called Zapier, right? You guys know Zapier. I don't know if you know it, but so Zapier is a website that connects one app to another app. That's basically what Zapier does. They connect different web apps together. They connect apps together, right? And and 1 minute, guys. So, for example, now let's say we want to connect BedSend to Paystack directly. So I'm going to type BedSend. So you can see BedSend here. So you can see BedSend is here. So I'll now say search for pairing apps. So I want to pair it with another app, right? So I now say Paystack. Okay, so BedSend will tell us if we can connect it. So exactly, so we can connect. So we can connect. So we can say, oh, please remove people from this sequence, right? Contact is created. So I can now set up the rules here, right? Contact opens email, contact subscribes to sequence, new chargeback, new customer. So I can say on the BedSend side, okay, I think we need to I need to switch it from one point to another. I need to switch it. So let me go back. So it is Paystack to BedSend, not BedSend to Paystack. Okay, so Paystack. So we'll now say BedSend here. Okay, so now say when this happens. So when we have a customer, cancel subscription, blah blah blah. New chargeback, new customer. So now say new customer. If somebody is a new customer, unsubscribe them from this BedSend account. So you can set up those rules here. But the problem, it's not a problem anyway, right? It's not so all these rules that we were doing here now, all these trigger actions. So these BedSend people have built this thing into their software so that we don't have to go and use Zapier to set up these rules. Because if you want to use Zapier to set up the rules, you have to pay Zapier, right? You have to pay them. So look at the pricing for Zapier. Um, so they will tell you it is free. You can do 100 tasks. So this 100 tasks means that if they this 100 tasks is basically like if you make 100 sales, if you set up one rule, first of all on this account you can only set up one rule. You can see that here that we already have two, and we can set up unlimited rules, right? If you're using the free account on Zapier, you can only set up one rule, and that your one rule has only 100 tasks that can happen on it per month, which means that if you're using a free account, you can only set up one rule, And the moment that rule has executed 100 times, you can't use it again. So, which means that you need to pay, right? So, which means that you need to pay $19. Well, this is actually $20 a month. So, $20 a month allows you to create as many rules as you want, not a problem, but it limits you to 750 tasks. This one, $50 a month, 2,000 tax a month, right? So if you're aiming to do 5,000 sales this month, you now know that this is the account, this is how much you are going to be paying. Because you can see 2,000 is $50. Anything above 2,000 is 300. There is no point. That is what I'm trying to say. There's no point going to pay all this money because everything these guys have managed to build this thing into their platform. So what you do is that when you're setting up your product, you don't sell it directly using Paystack. You know what I mean by directly using Paystack? The way you bought this, the way you paid for this email primary class was directly through Paystack. Because I was in a hurry, so I didn't have time to go and start setting it up. I set it up in WooCommerce, but I didn't activate it, right? Because I was in a hurry. So, in your own case, please, if you want to make sure that these rules work, right? Especially if you want to move people who have bought your product, you want to automatically remove them from a sequence and add them to your main list. You want this particular rule to work. You need to install WooCommerce on your website. So let me show you guys. WooCommerce is a plugin, and the plugin is absolutely free. So WooCommerce has an integration with Paystack. So you can still collect money using Paystack from your from the WooCommerce, right? You can still do that. So if you look here, you're going to see my WooCommerce. So this WooCommerce, these are my products that I have created on WooCommerce. So I just installed WooCommerce. Like I said, it is free. I installed two plugins. I installed WooCommerce and WooCommerce Paystack. So WooCommerce Paystack, what it does is that when you install that, let me show you guys where it is. These are the plugins. So when you install WooCommerce Paystack, the integration activated, you go and install the Paystack integration for WooCommerce. I want to know that you guys are doing stuff. This stuff is why the hell is this thing so slow? I want to waste my time. Ah, sorry guys, the internet is a bit slow. So okay, so this is WooCommerce guys. So you can see WooCommerce here. Like I said, the WooCommerce plugin is a free plugin. Now, if you look up here, you're going to see Paystack WooCommerce Payment Gateway. Now, what happens is that after you install WooCommerce, you need to install this Paystack WooCommerce Gateway plugin. It is just a way to add Paystack into WooCommerce. So the paystack option will be available in WooCommerce, and you will be able to collect your money via paystack. But the money will be charged through WooCommerce. Paystack will charge the money, but it will do it through WooCommerce. It will not do it directly. So that means that if you have those two set up, right, you need to go to Paystack and set it up the normal way that you do it, that you are going to do it. This is if you have your own product that you're selling, right? You do it the normal way that you set up a product on Paystack, but then you now come back and create the product inside of WooCommerce, right? Now, this is not part of this class. I'm just trying to explain it so that you guys will get it. So you create the product inside of WooCommerce, and then when people click to buy, they will see the Paystack option, and they click on that Paystack option, and they will pay through Paystack. But in the background, Paystack is making the charges through WooCommerce. Does this Greek that I just spoke, does it make any sense to you guys? Right? So once you do that, then you can set up this rule, and this rule is going to work. So that you can move people who have bought your product, you can unsubscribe them, you can unsubscribe them from a sequence, right? You can unsubscribe them from a sequence and add them to another tag and move them, right? So that is basically how this all of this works. This is an incredible piece of software. If you don't have your account yet, please let me know. Reach out to any of your friends who already has an account so that you can sign up through them. Sign up through them. The link, they will give you the affiliate link. It doesn't change the price. It is the same thing. So what? So why not, right? If you want to get it from me, just send me a message and I'll shoot you an affiliate link that you can use. Okay. If you also want webinar for, right, you want a link, you can also hit me up and I'll send the link for webinar for. But basically, this is how all of this works. So let me know, guys. Do you understand everything that I've just explained? Do you guys understand it now? Do you understand how to move people from one list to another if they have completed a sequence, right? If they have bought your product, right? You know how to move them now from one place to another. Let me know in the comments. So if there are any questions, please, this is the time to ask. If you have any questions you want to ask, please go ahead and ask. No questions? If there are no questions, I'll close the class so that you guys, and I'll basically declare the email marketing primer class officially ended. Now, over the next what I'm going to do over the next 2 weeks is that I'm going to re-record all this class that we've done. I'm going to re-record it without an audience. Right. The reason why I'm going back and forth is because you guys are live. We're doing it live. So I'm going to take time and record the entire class again from scratch without an audience, screenshots, slides, everything, and upload it to a members area and give you guys access. Okay. All right. Chidalu says, can one website account be used for more than one website? Yes, please. The reason I use two separate website accounts is because it is just my personal preference, right? I didn't have to do it. In fact, that second account is just me just wasting money. But I just wanted to do it that way. I want because I'm separating all everything that I'm doing for Kairos, right? I'm separating it out. I'm keeping it away different from every other thing that I'm doing for myself, right? So everything for Kairos has its own. Kairos has its own separate server. I use a separate server for every other thing. Kairos has its own separate server, its own separate BedSend account, its own separate webinar um, webinar accounts, its own everything, right? So for your list, for your products, for your anything, one BedSend account is enough. All you just need to do is just create a new tag for a new list or a new sequence for a new promo. Simple. Simple. That is how autoresponder accounts work. You can use them for a million websites, 1,000 websites. The only thing they are concerned about is can we charge, can you, when we build this person's card for the number of subscribers that they have at the end of the month, right? Can we get our money? Simple. That is all they are concerned about. So I hope that answers that question, Chidalu. All right. Any other question? Any other question, guys? Okay. If there are no other questions, not a problem. So I'm just going to close the class. I hope you guys obviously get this now and how it works. So I'm going to embed this video now. I'm going to embed it on the video page. So you guys, I sent you guys the link. I'm going to resend it again after I embed this particular video. I'll send it again. So just watch, especially from day 3, watch all the videos repeatedly, right? And do all of these setups. And you'll see that it gets easier and easier and easier and easier and easier the more you do them. And it will now bring you closer to that dream lifestyle that you were sold when you joined internet marketing. Okay? All right, guys. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. And I wish you all the best, amazing success. And see you guys at the Expanding event. That's like in about a month from now, Abby. Anyway, I'll probably will see a number of you before then anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But take care and have a good day. Cheers.